Good evening and a very warm welcome. You're watching the most definitive mood of the nation opinion poll. I'm Rahul Kanwal, and over the next 4 hours, we will take you state by state across the country and give you a sense of how people across the country are intending to go out and vote in the Lok Sabha elections. I want to begin by taking you through the methodology that's been used by C-Voter, our pollsters for this program, to put this data together. This poll has been conducted between the 16th of December 2013 and the 16th of January 2014. This is very important because what this means is that all of what the Aam Aadmi Party has done over the last 1 week is not factored into this poll. This poll is after the Delhi verdict and before all of Kejriwal's recent antics. The poll has been conducted across 28 states. It has a very large sample size of 21,792. These are randomly selected. They've been weighted according to known demographic, caste, creed, religion, credentials. An additional 21,405 respondents were interviewed in the crucial states of Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Delhi, because these are important states and we wanted an additional sample for each of these states. The data has been weighted to known census profile, and what we'll be doing on this program, and I want to tell our viewers about that, is we'll start with the Hindi heartland. Over the first 1 hour, we'll get you the picture from the Hindi heartland states, and then at 8 p.m. we will look at the southern states of India. 9 p.m. we look at the crucial battleground states of Maharashtra, West Bengal. We'll also give you a sneak peek into the national tally. 10 p.m. we look at the national big picture and see whether or not we will have a stable government in the center once the final verdict is out in May. So let's get started. I want to take you through first the figures for Uttar Pradesh. This is the seat share of the 2009 elections. Remember, that's when Mulayam Singh was on a downward spiral because of the fact that he'd brought in Kalyan Singh into his party, and that's when the Congress had registered very impressive numbers. The challenge for Modi is to push up the BJP numbers from 10. Can we bring the camera in closer? What is C-Voter projecting for India today in the crucial battleground state of Uttar Pradesh? Because it is Uttar Pradesh really that will determine how well the BJP does in these elections. So let's take you through party by party. The Samajwadi Party's tally likely to come down by 3 seats to 20. The Congress's tally crashing, coming down to 4. That's a loss of 17 seats for the Congress. The BSP tally going up by 4 seats to 24. And the big story in Uttar Pradesh, riding on a Narendra Modi surge, the BJP increasing its tally from 10 currently to 30. The big takeaway from this is that a lot of the upper caste votes have been polarized around Narendra Modi. The BSP is picking up seats pretty much by default on seats where they've got Muslim candidates, on seats where Mayawati has put up upper caste candidates. That's where the BSP is doing well amongst these constituencies. Otherwise, a lot of that vote, the Muslim vote which the Congress had picked up, now going towards the Samajwadi Party, despite what happened in the Muzaffarnagar riots. Also because Muslims realize that Mulayam is the most strong and able candidate to try and push Narendra Modi down. But the bigger story also, of course, is that the Congress tally crashing from 17 to 4. That's a big loss for the Congress. I want to introduce you to our guests and let's get their initial reactions on Uttar Pradesh. Professor Shiv Vishwanathan is joining us. Thank you very much, Professor Vishwanathan. Dr. Kiran Bedi has been going through these numbers. Radha Kumar, welcome ma'am, and also Kamal Mitra Chinoy in the studio. I want to first ask Shiv Vishwanathan on his sense, because the numbers indicate that apart from the Congress pocket boroughs of Rai Bareli and Amethi, the Congress is being decimated across Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah, I think one has to realize to a certain extent it's bad news for the Congress. And to a certain extent, one tends to see that it's a failure about tactics and strategy. I don't think the Congress has been a political party. In fact, I would say, go to the extent of saying the word political party is an oxymoron for the Congress. I think where you see dynamism, where you see change, where you see tactics is elsewhere. About the only thing they can console themselves with is that Rahul might still be safe.
Okay. Narendra Modi is in a roll, Dr. Kiran Bedi, across Uttar Pradesh. The vote share for the BJP up 10% already. And if the vote share goes up further, then this will turn into a big wave in favor of Modi, and that's good news from the BJP and Modi's perspective.
You see, the coming elections, the vote is clearly for the stomach, as MG Akbar said in his recent interview. It's for the stomach, it's for jobs, it's for development, it's for roads. You travel Uttar Pradesh, you can't enter the cities. They are so badly in traffic situation, potholed. So there is law and order issues, as we've seen. So it has to be voted against. The new young voter is post 1991. He's a liberalization voter.
And one of the things that our polls show is that a lot of the young voters who had rallied around Akhilesh Yadav in the assembly elections are actually now veering towards Narendra Modi and the BJP.
Because
and in
Narendra
that
Modi,
sense,
even today in his Gorakhpur address, talked about exactly this, saying why would the UPites like to come and work in Gujarat? Why? Why? Because you don't have work here. He said, I would like to bring Gujarat to Uttar Pradesh, where Gujarat could come and work in Uttar Pradesh. And he also said, if India's poverty has to go, it's Uttar Pradesh which has the solution. And Uttar Pradesh, if it was by the large, Rahul, was a country by itself, it probably would have been the 6th or 7th largest country in the world, after Australia, after India, Canada, Indonesia.
Okay. Joining us also on this program at this time, Gaurav Bhatia representing the Samajwadi Party, Sudhindra Baduria representing the BSP. I want to go across to Gaurav Bhatia first, because the Samajwadi Party is being wiped out in urban areas. Your Muslim vote bank hasn't deserted you despite Muzaffarnagar. That's the other takeaway. But clearly, given the assembly election results, the Mulayam and Akhilesh have frittered a large part of that goodwill away and on not being able to capitalize on what the performance that they delivered in the assembly elections, Gaurav.
Rahul, I was just seeing that the sample size of your survey is around 21,700. And let me say this, that I do not agree with the numbers that you have shown for the SP party. Because our government has been able to deliver in the last 2 years, and it's not just about the minority community. It is about the youth, and it is also about the inclusive growth for the OBCs, for the SCs even, who are looking up to Samajwadi Party. I think the media got it wrong during the 2012 elections, and now again in the 2014 elections, the numbers of Samajwadi Party would be far more than what is being shown here.
Okay.
One thing is sure, that the BJP is not doing as well as your numbers show, because the ground reality is different. They do not have the kind of organization that is required to win seats in the Lok Sabha. And even the Congress, that the numbers you are showing, that is the only part that I can agree with, that the Congress would definitely be...
That's very convenient. Agree with the parts of the opinion poll that suit you. Disagree and diss the parts of the opinion poll that don't. I want to go across to Sudhindra Baduria.
That's because... No, the feedback that I get from people is
the
that
Samajwadi Party 85 seats in Uttar Pradesh, because there are no longer 85 seats in Uttar Pradesh. Sudhindra Baduria, the BSP is winning essentially in Uttar Pradesh so far by default. Mayawati has put up some Muslim candidates, some upper caste candidates in the hope of pulling Muslims and upper caste voters back into the BSP fold. But clearly, the big story in Uttar Pradesh from the C-voter opinion poll seems to be that it is the BJP which is registering the sharpest growth in Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Baduria.
Well, you see, as far as the BSP is concerned, the psychologists and all the opinion polls never give a right picture about the BSP. Even in 2012, though we lost the elections, no opinion poll was willing to give us more than 22-23% of vote. I do not know what is your percentage of vote this time, but even in 2012 assembly elections, where we lost power, we polled about 26% vote. The Samajwadi Party was ahead by us by 3%, and that is why they got the number of seats that they got.
Okay.
But let me tell you this time that our vote share will be much more bigger than what we had got in 2012, and as a result of that, our seat share will also go, because you see, it is eventually what is the percentage of vote that is going to be polled in favor of a party will be determining the number of seats.
Oh, absolutely. The new entrant into the political fray in Uttar Pradesh.
Therefore, I would say that the BJP is not going to do as well as the psychologists and pollsters are trying to make out, because if that was the case, they would have done well in Delhi, but they were not only they did not do well, they lost, and their percentage of vote in spite of Mr. Modi came down by 3%. And I can tell you that in UP the Modi factor is on the decline, and today's rally in Gorakhpur, whatever may be the numbers over there in Gorakhpur, the rally of Bahan Mayawati ji was 10 times bigger than that.
Okay.